go. He's got every shot. I've just said it. His chance has gone down. An infuriated investment. A moment missed, sir. Financial opportunity, Gonski. 94 for 2.
Yeah, it's the halfway mark of this first innings. And just getting inside the line beautifully and helping it on its way. We know here in the Highveld it travels. And it was traveling straight into that gentleman's hand. And unfortunately, opportunity gone begging.
Victorious. 94 for 2 at the halfway point of the innings. It's the eliminator with the stand-in captains. We've got Dan Lawrence stepping in for David Miller for Paarl Royals.
Andre Pretorius, 94 for 2 at the halfway point of the innings.
Over the course of his season. Vernon Philander and AB de Villiers.
The eliminator
JSK and injuries. Last year they were making 5, 6, 7 changes a game.
We've got Dan Lawrence stepping in for David Miller for Paarl Royals. James Vince is the third captain JSK have employed over the course of this season.
And when I say experienced players, they come with age.
And AB de Villiers. What is it about JSK and injuries? Last year they were making 5, 6, 7 changes a game.
That was coming. But it's true, isn't it? You've lost. Donovan Ferreira's not an old boy, but.
Yeah, good evening, Butch. Good evening to all our viewers. AB, I suppose when you compile your squad, JSK, they've often reverted to experienced players. And when I say experienced players, they come with age. So that's the risk you take, Butch.
Yeah, I think on initial
I feared that was coming.
Perhaps a touch on the high side.
But it's true, isn't it?
You've lost captain and bowler.
Well, Donovan Ferreira's not an old boy, but...
Oh, good bowling. It looked like a cross-seam delivery, or maybe even a leg cutter.
That's very close.
Maybe a bit down leg.
Vince has decided to go back to seam, and I think it's a good move against Dan Lawrence. He plays really well against spin.
There have been some bragging rights there as well.
Might be a bit high.
And Dan Lawrence, teammates at Surrey County.
On initial glance, perhaps a touch on the high side.
Because I think he was trying to get as far away from the scene of the crime as possible.
Between captain and bowler, not interested.
Bend at knee, Butch.
Yeah, good bowling. It looked like a cross-seam delivery, or maybe even a leg cutter.
You don't bend the knee to anyone.
I don't think it was high, gents. Maybe a bit down leg.
50 for Andre Pretorius, his second.
There'd have been some bragging rights there as well. Dan Worrell and Dan Lawrence, teammates at Surrey County Cricket Club.
Highest score prior to this, and you just had
Lawrence
the feeling
ran because I think he was trying to get as far away from the scene of the crime as possible.
At Paarl. You had the feeling that the runs were going to come.
Bend the knee, Butch.
What a time to arrive.
Don't bend the knee, Vern. You don't bend the knee to anyone.
Today. Very measured. Some great sixes being hit. But he also has the ability to
50
pull back when needed.
for Andre Pretorius, his second of this year's Betway SA20. 98 not out was his highest score prior to this. And you just...
Yeah, also he knows this venue so well. Plays most of his cricket up here in the north. Something of a swipe down the ground from Lawrence. Exchanges a few words with...
Just had the feeling he'd been struggling a little on the slower, lower pitches at Paarl. You had the feeling that the runs were going to come at some point.
It's not too high.
What a time to arrive. Andre Pretorius. Fantastic knock today. Very measured. Some great sixes being hit. But he also had the ability to pull back when needed. See 14 dots there, so it wasn't all out guns blazing.
Just as yet, and that's maybe
he's got a good record, and he's certainly helped that record tonight. The biggest stage in a must-win for Paarl Royals.
Come. Excellent running. Oh, Lawrence is going to have to hurry. In fact, it's Pretorius who's gone. Lawrence was the one who was desperate for the second. The communication all the way through there was Lawrence saying to Pretorius, go for 2. But Pretorius had to go onto the back foot to nudge it into the leg side, and he was short perhaps by a yard because he's wandering.
Lawrence is going to have to hurry.
Yeah, he doesn't need.
In fact, it's Pretorius who's gone. Lawrence was the one who was desperate for the second.
We heard the cries of two from the get-go.
The communication all the way through there was Lawrence saying to Pretorius, go for two.
Why he's wandering off the pitch.
But Pretorius had to go onto the back foot to nudge it into the leg side, and he was short perhaps by a yard because he's wandering off.
That the Royals don't want to lose at this juncture of the
Yeah,
game.
he doesn't need the TV umpire to confirm because he knows he's short, but we heard the cries of two from the get-go. Little nudge in the leg side, and that's the reason why he's wandering off the pitch.
34, he's got to go.
Short by a mile.
Strength sapping stairs here.
And that's the wicket that the Royals don't want to lose at this juncture of the game.
Let's watch here.
Here's confirmation. OUT, he's gone.
Does he have a little slip? Yeah.
Well, the Royals, 98 for 3.
Run on the drive it, run on the cut
51 from 34, but he's got to go.
There, running on the juicy surrounds of the pitch on the square.
Stairs here.
Lost his footing and that
That's
cost him his
Centurion,
wicket.
and what a time to lose him.
Run on the
Watch
cut
here.
bit.
Does he have a little slip? Yeah.
New man in.
And there's a lesson for all you youngsters at home.
To turn it on.
Run on the drive bit, run on the cut bit. He just slips there, running on the juicy surrounds of the pitch on the square. Lost his footing, and that cost him his wicket.
To build a partnership, though. He doesn't have to go crazy right from the off. What are we
Run on the cut bit.
Anything above 180 is handy here.
Sikandar Raza, new man in.
Moment in the game right there.
He's the man for the big occasion. Loves to turn it on in knockout
I was
games.
initially thinking anything over 180, but I do
Comes
feel
in a little
200
earlier,
plus.
perhaps, than Paarl Royals would have
Feel
liked.
relatively safe. I think under 200.
Chance to build a partnership, though. He doesn't have to go crazy right from the off. What are we looking at, AB? Anything above 180 is handy here.
Yeah, massive moment in the game right there. Two new batters at the wicket. Exactly what JSK would have wanted. I was initially thinking anything over 180, but I do feel 200 plus.
But here's the moment here.
To feel relatively
Just
safe. I
decides
think
to run
under
off the
200
cut part of the strip and
might not be
slips.
enough.
I think both players were keen for two right from the off, but he realised he was struggling halfway. Brilliant throw came in from Matt de Villiers. Moonsamy just